Of government, particularly around antitrust and competition issues, often move slowly, but it's clear, whether it's Brussels, London, Washington, that antitrust regulators want to have a more muscular approach to the behemoths in the market, because they've seen the excesses of the last decade or so, and they want to make sure that they're catching up and doing that. One of the issues, as you then look at the new cutting-edge technologies in AI and blockchain and other areas, is that in my experience, having worked for over 20 years in politics and tech policy, you really need consensus on two things in order for something to happen. One, you need a general consensus on what the problem is you're trying to solve, and then you need a general consensus on what the remedy is. But because a lot of policymakers are still dealing with the first question, what is the problem that we actually are targeting, it's hard to actually move to the remedy stage quite yet.
I'll come back to that, because that's something you and I have already talked about off camera. Look, let me be brutally honest about this, Colin. A few years ago, I was speaking to a tech expert, an expert on who's monitoring what. And I said, I'm pretty sure Google monitors everything that's in my Gmail, because sometimes I see algorithms offer me certain stuff. And they said, Steve, you're a fool. It's not a question of who is looking at your emails. It's a question of who isn't looking at your emails. Pretty much they're very accessible to a lot of actors if they want to look at them. So my point about the interoperability, tough word, first thing on Tuesday morning, interoperability is I don't want my end-to-end encrypted user networks to be interoperable. I quite like the fact that they're encrypted end-to-end, and as such, other parties can't read them.
Yes, and if you could continue to have end-to-end encrypted technologies across messaging platforms, wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, but then there's an enormous trust deficit between the companies themselves and the operators of those companies and the technology at those companies.
Yes, and it's incumbent upon the technology companies to earn that trust with users.
Fair point. Let's go back to your other point you just raised, which you and I both have strong opinions on. I've been looking at what DC and the administration is trying to work out are the risks to AI. And it is like trying to walk through mud as well. And you're absolutely spot on from my initial research, last weeks and months. They haven't got a clue what the problem is. Is it monopolies? Is it my safety? Is it the security? Is it the actual technology itself, which is going to become some form of, I don't know, what was the Terminator technology? Skylon, was it? I can't remember. Yeah. So they don't even know what the problem is. So how on earth are we expected to have regulation when we can't work out what we're actually regulating for?
Well, the thing to do, I think, is to break it into two different categories of problems. One are the long-term issues. And the long-term issues when AI becomes super intelligent. And this is what a lot of people are focusing on, this parade of horribles when it moves from stealing our luggage to turning on us and attacking, right? Where the AI technology is making decisions on its own initiative without human intervention or prompting. Those are the long-term issues, and they are very scary. Short term, there are extant problems that will be coming relatively soon. So as the internet starts to get flooded with automated, generated information, a lot of which may have questionable veracity to the information, that it becomes noise across the internet. It becomes harder and harder for ordinary people to discern fact from fiction, and that noise pollution could really drive people crazy, but it also can undermine democracy and institutions that we need to have trust in.
No doubt it could be